This week, Transworld Sport celebrates its 1,500th consecutive program. For almost 30 years, we've traveled the globe in search of the best and most interesting stories from the wide world of sports. It's been a quest that's taken us to every continent and to over 190 different countries. We've covered almost every single sport that there is, unearthed some incredible stories, and met some fascinating people along the way.
Hey, I'm Mike Tyson, and you're watching Transworld Sports. Don't forget.
Hello, I'm Roger Federer. You're watching Transworld Sport.
Oh, Transworld Sport, welcome back to Ethiopia again. Come in.
Hello, Transworld Sport. Benvenuti in casa.
This week on Transworld Sports, me.
Hola, Transworld Sports. Bienvenidos a Bolivia.
On behalf of Transworld Sport and all of its viewers, I'd like to present Carl Lewis with Transworld Sports Trophy for Athlete of the Year and congratulate him for such a wonderful season.
Thank you, Leroy. It couldn't have come from a better teammate and, of course, better friend.
Hi, I'm Lance Armstrong, Transworld Sports Sportsman of the Year.
It gives me great pleasure to accept this award on behalf of my family and certainly my team of the Chicago Bulls.
Thank you, Transworld Sport.
I'm Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, and you're watching Transworld Sports. Tune in.
Usain Bolt was just a babe in arms when Transworld Sport first hit international TV screens 29 years ago. It was 1987, and the world was a very different place. Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev were the most powerful men in the world. Communism and the Berlin Wall stood strong. And Nelson Mandela had yet to make his long walk to freedom, with South Africa still under the apartheid system. Argentina's Diego Maradona was at the peak of his powers on the football pitch. And in the boxing ring, a young American heavyweight by the name of Mike Tyson was destroying all comers. It was against this backdrop that Transworld Sport launched in May 1987. From the outset, we've tried to spot emerging talent, and in our early years, we struck gold.
Konnichiwa. Bonjour. Hola. Hola.
Hola, yeah, hola.
We were the first international TV program to profile the Williams sisters. Venus was 12 and Serena just 11. Their dad, Richard, revealed to us the ambitions that he had for his young daughters.
For both of them to become #1 in the world. And right now, I don't see anything that can stop them. I think that they will easily do it. Both girls are going to be tall, they're extremely fast, they have great ground strokes and good volleys. They want to play, and they're very happy girls.
Another African-American father who we met in our early years was Earl Woods. Earl was convinced that his 14-year-old son, Eldrick, also known as Tiger, would one day become the greatest golfer the world has ever seen.
The world is ready. It is absolutely ready for a non-white golfer to be successful. The next booming area in the world for golf is Asia. Tiger is already Asian. He is Thai. In the United States, Tiger is black. So when he wins in the United States, he'll be the first black golfer to win. When he wins a major in Asia, he'll be the first Asian to win, you see? So he can't lose unless he doesn't win. And I don't anticipate him not winning.
Since I'm black, it might be even bigger than Jack Nicklaus. I might be even bigger than him, to the blacks. I may be sort of like a Michael Jordan in basketball, or something like that.
The list of talented youngsters to have been profiled on Transworld Sport long before they became superstars is a very long one. Here's just a selection. How many famous faces can you spot?
Whilst we've watched our new faces reach their potential, we've also had the privilege of meeting some sporting legends who are sadly no longer with us. In 2009, we spent time with Spanish golfer SEVE Ballesteros as he was battling the cancer that would claim his life.
I just want to send a message to all the people that are going through difficult times like myself or even tougher, that you know, you have to fight. You have to fight, you have to be strong, because at the end, you know, and if you overcome the situation and you win, you know, when you win, it tastes much sweeter. So please fight and fight, never stop.
Other legendary figures to have allowed the Transworld Sport cameras into their lives include Dutch track and field star Fanny Blankers-Koen and Australian cricket great Don Bradman. In his later life, Bradman was notoriously reclusive, so we were honoured to be welcomed into his Adelaide home. Hungarian footballer Ferenc Puskás and Argentinian motor racing driver Juan Manuel Fangio also graced this show with their presence. As did American boxer Joe Frazier.
I want people to remember me, you know, as a great fighter, a great person, a great guy that gets the job done.
In our 1,500 episodes, the biggest name to have appeared on Transworld Sport is unquestionably Frazier's great rival, Muhammad Ali. Despite his health problems, the greatest turned up in person to accept our Athlete of the Century award in December 1999.
Along with the famous faces that have appeared on Transworld Sport, a big part of our show has been the places that we've journeyed to and the traditional sports that we've discovered there. Places like Papua New Guinea, Laos, Cuba, Madagascar, Mongolia, Iraq, Nepal, Somalia, and Burkina Faso. Sports like Samo wrestling, kabaddi, yak polo, and buffalo racing. Here at Transworld Sport, we like to think that we go to places where others won't. Out of the 206 member nations of the IOC, we've been to 193 of them, and we're aiming to visit the remaining ones in the near future. In the early 90s, we headed to North Korea. We were one of the first international sports shows to visit the secretive state. At that time, the country was under the rule of their great leader, Kim Il-sung. In Pyongyang, we reported on the DPRK's sports system and were even invited to film at the Arirang Mass Games, where celebrations for Kim Il-sung's 80th birthday were in full swing. Shortly after filming in North Korea, Transworld Sport was visited by Western intelligence agencies, keen to know what we'd seen in the country. Following the overthrow of the Taliban in 2001, we returned to Afghanistan for the first time since the late 80s. We got reacquainted with the brutal national sport of buzkashi. One of the world's oldest sports with few rules, it's a reflection of the violence and power struggles that have scarred Afghanistan for centuries. Perhaps the most significant lesson that our travels have taught us is how important sport can be as a vehicle for peace and understanding. A few years after the genocide in Rwanda, which left over 1 million people dead, we reported on the role that sport was playing in helping to rebuild a shattered nation. Sporting programs were being introduced across the country to encourage social change, as Rwanda's president explained to us.
Sport alone cannot bring about the healing the society needs like ours. But that has to be done in a combination with other efforts. But what is important to stress here is that sport has its own place, has its own role to play in bringing together the society, in healing the minds of people, in focusing on it as something that brings people together. Even in a competition, it brings them together.
We've also seen how sport can help to preserve cultures around the world. A favourite annual event of ours is the World Eskimo Indian Olympics, where native Alaskan games celebrate aspects of a rapidly vanishing way of life. Although the games may look a little unusual, the skills displayed date back thousands of years and were once necessary for the survival of native Alaskans.
It hurts for a while, but then it gets numb. Then after a while, it doesn't hurt anymore.
The weird and wonderful things that people do around the globe in the name of sport remains a key feature of this programme. Transworld Sport has spent almost 30 years celebrating them all and will continue to do so in the years ahead.